Well, for our program this afternoon, I am delighted to be able to introduce to you Jennifer Jacobs. She is the CEO for Clothes To Kids. Clothes To Kids, of course, their mission is to provide new and quality used clothing to low income or in crisis school-age children free of charge. She'll tell you more about their work in our community that they've been doing so successfully for so many years. Of course, we've been able to have the privilege of being a good supporter for Clothes To Kids and their important work, but and great opportunity to learn even more. So Jennifer, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. So I brought some visuals, as you can tell. So let me get situated, if you don't mind. Thank you for being a great Van White. So I've got to kind of stay in with the camera. So this is Sarah Shine. She's our new development manager. And so she's here today she will also help me. And this is her 10th week at Clothes To Kids. So I am very happy that she is here. One of the things that the Lucky Duck did not say about the great city of Dunedin, yes, I'm calling you out, is the great city of Dunedin is also home of Clothes To Kids. We started yes, please clap. So we started right here on Pinehurst as well, more than almost 23 years ago. And our co-founders were graduates of Clearwater High School. Jody, at that time, was Jody Frisbee, and now I, and Marie Bouchard McClung. They were Clearwater High School graduates, best friends. Marie called her sister, Terry, her sister. So Marie received a call from her sister, Terry, who was a teacher. Terry said to Marie, I have a child who can't go out on the school playground this afternoon. She needs a jacket. She needs something so that she can go out on the playground. Marie says, give me a few minutes. Let me see what I can find. Well, Marie went to the store and found a purple jacket. And she always wants me to say, Jennifer, don't forget the 2 turtlenecks. And I'm like, Marie, nobody wears turtlenecks anymore, especially not elementary school age children. She goes, but don't forget them. So it was 2 turtlenecks and a purple jacket. Marie went to the school that day and she thought that she was going to be the one giving the blessing. Well, when she gave that little girl with her big brown eyes that jacket, she didn't want to take it off at the end of the day, but she said, I was the one that received the blessing. And so she went back and she started talking with Jody, who was a first grade teacher. And Jody was saying, I'm seeing this all the time. And so they said, let's do something about it. So in the fall of 2002, so 2002, right over here on Pinehurst, they decided to open up a little store and call it Clothes To Kids. And the story is that when they went to sign the lease, cell phones weren't big at that time, and we were having a rainstorm, and there were no lights on in the building. And Marie looked at Jody and said, what are we doing? Are we doing the right thing? And they said, if we can help one child, we will have accomplished something. So I stand here today and look at this great Rotary Club who has been a generous and kind donor to us for a very long time, and say what turned into one wardrobe has now successfully been 2,010,000 wardrobes to children in Greater Tampa Bay. So does that look like? So we quickly grew out of that little store on Pinehurst and relocated to where we are now, which is off of Hercules. So if you ever have an opportunity to go to Hercules, that's our oldest store. We opened that one in 2005. And then we opened up a St. Pete store in 2009. And in 2018, we went across the bridge over to Tampa and opened up a Tampa store. So now we have 3 stores that serve greater Tampa Bay, and plans to potentially open another store in the coming years in Tampa. So what makes us any different than a big box retailer? Well, the kids get to come in and shop for a week's worth of school clothes. So what does that mean? That means they can get a jacket, they can get a shirt. This one just happens to have a reindeer on it with the sequins that the girls love to wear because they shine, and then you can sometimes change them. A pair of bottoms, and here's a little skirt. And look at this dress. I mean, we would all want to wear that. And you will notice, so I am going to say that they get a pair of shoes, they get 5 new pairs of socks, 5 new pairs of underwear, 4 bottoms, 5 tops, a jacket, and then fun accessories as we have those available. I was speaking to a room full of all men last night, and I said, this is something that men don't have to worry about, but us ladies have to do. And if the girl is in the bra wearing age, she can get up to 2 bras as long as we have those available. So this entire shopping experience is free to the children. So we are able to provide this whole week's worth of school clothes for $65. So when we ask for support, like you all supported us last year, we are able to say we can provide this whole week's worth of school clothes for $65, and it's free to the child. We serve pre-K4 all the way through 12th grade. And we often help schools like later in life schools. So like if they're 18 or they have learning disabilities, an example of that is like St. Pete's Creative Clay. So we often work with kids that are at other schools, but typically it's about 18. And so we have to have clothes that come in all shapes and all sizes. So we have 4T all the way up to about 4XL. So our clothes run in that whole range. So we want to just share with you all how much your kind support means to us. And that is, I have to probably share one of my favorite stories because of who it is, because I have 2 little boys myself. So we had these 2 young men come into the store, and they're probably, I would say one was probably about 6'1", and the other one was probably right at about 6 feet. They were in high school, junior and sophomore and a junior. And they were coming in to shop for the very first time at Clothes to Kids. And one of them was not really in the mood to really talk and not really in the mood to shop. And the guidance counselor who had brought them in to shop said they probably won't talk very much. And let me tell you a little bit about their story. Well, come to find out, because one was a sophomore and one was a junior, they switched clothes. So one brother would wear clothes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and the other brother would wear his clothes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so they swapped so that nobody would know that they didn't have but the clothes that they had. So they swapped. So they would wear the opposite of whatever they did, and that's how they went to school. And so when they were shopping with us, they each got a pair of shoes. They each got 4 bottoms. They each got 5 tops. They each got 5 new pairs of underwear, 5 new pairs of socks. And when they left the store, it was almost like they had just been given hope. They had been given joy because they were given hope. They were given joy. And the boys and the teenage boys are especially my favorite because they don't feel that we're going to have their sizes. And when they come in and they get that complete week's worth of school clothes, 22 pieces, it's like, wow, they had what I wanted. I got the size 14 shoe or the size 13 shoe that I needed. And so those are the things you help make the shopping experience possible. And we don't exist without our community. And so whether you're giving your time, your talents, or your treasures, you're making a big difference in the lives of children in Pinellas and Hillsborough County. And Pinellas County is a very wealthy county, but the amount of children that qualify to shop with us is about 67%. 67% of the children in Pinellas County qualify to shop with us. And so that means that they receive free or reduced lunch. And I'm not sure about y'all, but I would like to think that nobody escaped the last 30 days. We have seen an uptick in the amount of children that we are serving because of the hurricanes, because I don't know about y'all, but most of us put up our clothes in Chester drawers and in closets. And when you get 4 feet of water in your house, you lose your shoes, you lose your underwear, you lose the things that are in the compartments. Right over here in off of, I'm not a Clearwater or a Dunedin native, but off of Drew Street, I think I got this street right. Is that right, Drew? There's an apartment complex. Have you all heard about that apartment complex? Well, I'm about to share with you how important your gifts are and your clothing donations are to Clothes to Kids. We had 90, like 10 away from 100 children in that apartment complex come to us and need clothes. So you're helping us help the children who are on the free and reduced lunch program, but you're also helping the children who are in crisis. And so it is a pleasure to be able to say thank you for the events that you hold. Thank you for your happy dollars, and thank you for believing in Clothes to Kids, because without you, Clothes to Kids simply would not exist. And it's such a pleasure and such an honor to be able to stand up here and say to you all, thank you so much for believing in us, and thank you for being a long time donor, and thank you for your trust. We appreciate you. David beat me to it. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes, sir, man in the blue shirt, you were first. Oh, the other one, not the lucky duck. Sorry, you're not lucky. Yeah, you got shot down. I'm sorry, lucky duck. Sure. So the criteria is free or reduced lunch. So that's 67% of children. So that 67% of the children in Pinellas County receive a letter from the schools that says, hey, Johnny, you qualify for free or reduced lunch. And so 67% of the kids in Pinellas County qualify to shop with us. But as what's been going on over the last, 30, 40 plus days, we also serve kids in crisis. So our mission is to provide new and quality used clothing to low income or in crisis children. And that's they have to be in school.
In the system now because their mom got pulled away. But I don't know if they're on free or reduced lunch.
Here, so here's the deal. I think I heard you tell somebody that you're a guardian ad litem. All right, so you would be what we call a referral, and they are able to shop as well. So before I leave, I will give you my business card, and yes, they qualify because they're in crisis.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Man in the pink shirt.
Okay.
Or salmon, or red. I mean, from here it looks pink.
Okay. Tell me about the number of children that you would like to serve camp because of this greater demand.
Oh, what a loaded question. The need is great. And that is the challenge that I face organizationally every single day. Because if I were to, it's about 49,000 children in Pinellas County who need our services. If all of those children came to us, I would not be able to serve them. And so I would say that what is the solution? It's just a balance, right? Because it takes monetary support and it takes clothing support. Because every child that shops with us receives those 22 pieces of clothing. So it's more clothing, more funds. And if we had that, we could do more. You're welcome. Yes, ma'am. We do. Oftentimes, it's very interesting because, and I'm going to pick on Clearwater. Is that all right? So, and you'll know why in a second. So when people think of large product, right, and working with Walmart or working with bigger companies, oftentimes they want to give you stuff that's not selling in their stores, right? So instead of picking on a big corporation like Walmart or things like that, I would rather just pick on a local event. I don't want 1,000 Clearwater Turkey Trot Run shirts, right? A kid doesn't want to wear, Dave and myself and Sarah, we don't all want to wear a Clearwater Turkey Trot Run shirt, but they want to get rid of them because they don't need them anymore, right? I can't do anything with them, and I don't want a pallet of white jeans from Walmart that are size 0. It may take me 6 years to get through that pallet of white size 0 jeans, right? So we have to be very specific about what our asks are from those corporations. And so typically what we try to do is we work with and partner with. Have you all ever heard of Bombas socks? Okay, that is an incredibly philanthropic company. Sarah's actually going to pull out a pair. They have a motto: for every pair bought, they donate a pair. We are the recipient of about 50,000 pairs of socks from Bombas every year. And I always like to brag because our kids have better socks than I do. They're really good. They're really, really good socks. So that helps me move the money that I've budgeted because the socks have to be new. That allows me to move that money into, maybe we don't get a lot of shoes donated and we need to get little boy pants or little size shoes, or so it helps alleviate. But we work with Bombas, we work with Fruit of the Loom, we work with an organization called Souls for Souls, and they ship us brand new shoes because they have relationships with Nike, Adidas, those types of things, and they are kind of like the middleman between not a ton of nonprofits reaching out to them, but they reach out on behalf of the nonprofit partners that they have. So we get donations in that way. Is that what you meant? Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am. You were listening. That is one thing I didn't mention, and I'm so glad that you asked that question. Yeah. So the answer to your question is, if they make an appointment today and they come in and they shop, because today is November the 13th, and they're going to come in and they're going to get 22 pieces of clothing, they could come back next week if they wanted and do a second shop. But they wouldn't be able to come back until November the 1st of 2025. So what we try to do is we try to say, come back in 6 months. So then that way they can get clothes and they can get 2 shops in their calendar year. So theoretically, they could get up to probably 40, somewhere between 44 and 50 pieces a year from us, all free of charge as they grow. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, he sat long enough. Sitting duck is, all right, hit it. You're welcome.
But gently used clothes. Do you, for example, go to the sheriff's youth branch, which has a huge clothing section, and work a deal with them for gently used clothes that might be appropriate for what you're doing? Is number one. And number two, there is a sheriff's youth branch facility in Safety Harbor.
Yes.
Do you do outreach to them?
For clothes,
For clothes?
we do not. And the reason that we don't do that is because they do clothes as well. And that kind of piggybacks off of your question. If every single person who needed clothes in this community came to us, we couldn't serve them all. So we're very excited that there are other organizations out there that are also doing clothes. They just don't necessarily do the shopping model, but they are doing clothes in their way. So it would be kind of like taking the resources from them to then help us. But we don't necessarily have a clothing problem. They somehow just appear, and we have lots of clothes to give away, and we can always use more because we shop year round. But a fun fact is our co-founder, Marie Bouchard McClung, her brother actually started the youth branch. So there you go. Did that help answer your question?
Pedestrian entries do you have per week or per month? How many kids come through the front door in a typical day, week, month?
Last month, it was 1,200 children.
In all the stores, in all the locations?
Mhm. It's a lot of kids. And then when you think those 1,200 children, 1,200 shoppers got 22 pieces of clothing each. That's a lot, costing us $65, right? So it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of clothes, which is why we constantly need a flow of all of those things. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if I can say this question. Maybe also, but also I donated. You could donate clothes. I like those up here. So you still accept donations of clothes, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And kids come in all shapes and sizes. One of my very favorite stories to say or share is my husband came into the store one morning and we were there. I was printing off some things and he's going down the rack. And he gets to a shirt and he pulls it out and he goes, I have a shirt just like this at home. Do you know where this is going? It was his. It was not his favorite shirt, but I looked at him and I said, honey, you're not wearing it anymore. I gave it to Clothes to Kids. So just remember that our name is Clothes to Kids, but kids come in all shapes and sizes. Like think about those teenage boys that I just told you about. They're not wearing little clothes. They're wearing y'all's size clothes. So we need all shapes and all sizes. And yes, we need donations of clothing, need monetary donations. And if you want to volunteer, let us know. The store is right around the corner. Thank you.